Jimmy K here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, yes, Sabaton. You know, I remember you guys, when you first came to Montreal, Canada, you were opening up for Accept. Do you remember that? Yeah. Opening up for Accept, and then suddenly you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and here you are, Hammerfall's opening up for you guys in the theater. So the big news, The Great War, the album, right?
Great news.
The great news. It's a fantastic album. I love it. I'm a big fan of you guys from the beginning. Tell me what the difference between this album versus like the last album.
Yeah. Well, I do think that Sabaton has evolved over the past 15 years when we started to write about historical content in our songs. Still, the core of Sabaton is there. We sound like Sabaton, we write the songs in the same style of Sabaton, which we always have, even though we make small progressions from album to album. But anybody who expects Sabaton to have, there's a big change between this album and that album, they are maybe looking at the wrong band. We are more a continuously band that fans who are fans of Sabaton, they know what to expect when there's a new album out.
What has been your contribution to the band?
Well, of course, my guitar playing, of course. I have a couple of ideas when it comes to choirs, backing vocals, because I've been working a lot with writing my own choirs and singing a lot. So I had many ideas and a little bit of input to that. But also, of course, when it came to writing songs to this new album, I wrote one song with Joachim, and I think that song turned out great.
What did you learn about World War I that you didn't know before doing this album?
I can give you a short answer. A lot. A lot. I learned a lot, because when I went to school, you were taught a lot about the World War II. Not so much about the First World War. It's like something about Franz Ferdinand, that's how the war started, but not so much. So when we're reading about the lyrics and asking Joachim and Pär, what's this song about, and they tell me it's about this guy and it's about this event, it's like, whoa, shit, I never knew about that. So for me, this has been a great learning experience as well.
Yeah. What about you, Pär?
I would say maybe there are details that are frightening that I was not so aware of. For example, the details surrounding. I knew that the Battle of Verdun was one of the longest conflicts in the world, but I did not know the magnitude of it. So digging deeper into that was a very eye-opener.
The Ghost in the Trenches. So we're in Canada, right? We're in Montreal, Canada. And here's a native, a First Nations guy who was discriminated against. You want to talk about that song just quickly,
It's one of those stories. The song is written by Tommy here. Music.
The lyrics or the music?
The music.
Well, you could speak to both. Both you guys could speak to it.
About the lyrics, this is one of those stories that you don't really come across so easily, especially not living in Sweden. Thankfully, we are cooperating with the people that are also behind the Sabaton History channel. And Indy, who is the host of the Sabaton History channel, which is a YouTube channel we launched in February this year to cover the background story, a documentary series to cover the background story of each Sabaton song week by week. In there's a host, his name is Indiana Nidell, and he did, previous to the Sabaton History channel, a World War I documentary series, the biggest documentation of World War I ever made. And when we ask him for ideas, we can find a lot in his archives, what he has been doing in the past. That's where we find the story about Francis Picamagov.
And the music of it?
Yeah, well, I have to be honest, parts of this song are old things that I've written a long time ago that I felt that hasn't been doing anything with this, and then I showed it to Joachim and he said, wow, this is good, let's use it. And then the solo is a solo that I wrote like maybe 7 years ago, nothing released or anything, but just a demo song for myself to listen to. And then I was thinking about it, like, should I write a new solo or use something that I think is really, really good, really, really cool, but haven't done anything yet with. So I took that solo and we recorded it, and I think it fits perfect to the song. It's a little bit, it's a little bit ABBA influenced, and yeah, absolutely, yeah, for sure, and a little bit neoclassical as well. But it's not really a, look how fast I can play solo. It's more of a, melodies, the feeling.
Sure.
And I mean the music took one evening and the song was done.
Canadian song about a First Nations who wasn't even a Canadian, or considered a Canadian in Canada, and he was probably one of the highest decorated snipers in Canadian. And there's another Canadian song. Well, it's not actually a song. It's in Flanders Field.
Yeah,
Okay, and you put it at the end of the album. Is there any specific reason?
This is not a. This is music written by us. However, the poem is written by a Canadian soldier then. Yeah. And we felt when we were doing the research for this album, we were looking for music, poems, quotes written during the time that we could do something with. And wherever you look, you come across this, because being the most known poem from World War I, we thought, okay, we can do something with it. And we also felt that the album itself was so powerful, the constant pumping of big metal songs one by one needed a little bit of a soft landing in the end. So that's why we decided to make the song like that.
Just so you know, the poppy is something in Canada. Every year we wear it on Veterans Day to celebrate the brave men who died in the war. So that's the signification. What about the Red Baron? The Red Baron. You have the Allies, and now you have the we'll call it the evil side at the time, right? Or however you look at it. The Red Baron, quite controversial, 100 and something kills.
The thing with the World War I is that there is not really any good or evil. The thing, I mean, World War I is more gray zone. Nobody really knows what is right or wrong there. It's just a war where everybody is suffering heavily. So in this case, and I think Baron from Richthofen, who is also mostly known as the Red Baron, was one of those characters that we felt for a long time that we wanted to cover. Why? There are other flying aces. Yes, he's one of the most famous. Why? Because he wanted to be one of the most famous. He would be what you would call a rock star World War I, taking the credit of his kills. And that made him stick out a bit. And that's why it felt quite natural to do a song about it.
So you guys usually cover the heroes, the villains, and the different wars. Would you ever, and today it's a little different, the war. Today it's more driven by money, corporations, greed. Would you ever see yourselves falling into that part and talking about that kind of stuff, where the politicians are actually driving the war? It's not about saving a land, it's not about saving a soul, it's more about getting the resources from another country.
It depends on how inspiring you want to be, in conspiracy theories, but or what you actually want to see. But that politicians and bankers and landowners fight wars for economic reasons have been going on way longer than World War I. So
since the Roman Empire.
And so it's the people who actually fight for freedom. There are a couple, but they never invade others for the sake of freedom. So
yeah. What's your favorite song, Tommy, on the whole album? Okay, you have your song, right? But what other songs do you enjoy, and why?
Well, I mean, I enjoy to play the Red Baron, of course, because it's happy, it's catchy, it's a little bit 70s, 80s rock inspired, a little bit of a blues solo going on there, and it's just a very fun song to play. And also I like Devil Dogs. Because that song is a little bit more power metal than the other songs, and I come from power metal, Halloween and Stratovarius, Edguy, that kind of music, and that song is something I really can relate to.
Cool. Yeah. Art. What is the secret? You guys, like I mentioned at the beginning, you started off as this opening act. What is the secret to your success over the years? What's the ingredients?
I I do not think that it's so much of a secret. First of all, I think that anybody needs a good amount of music that is good songs. And well, do we play good songs? A lot of people say that, but obviously we do. I do not need to judge that. And then it's a hard work. And there are no shortcuts. Sabaton is not the kind of band who would be played a lot on the radio, be played featured a lot like that. Not at all. So we have to do it the hard way. We have to tour. And yeah, you saw us with Accept. There was a lot of other tours since. I think we are up to the 9th support tour in North America until where we are right now in a short period of time. We invested a lot of our
you brought the tank to Heavy Montreal, I remember. For the first time, you brought it all the way to North America.
And we just didn't give up. We don't.
And Tommy, what did you learn from this whole experience being the new guy in the band? The good, bad, you know?
Yeah, I learned a lot of things. It's, you know, I can sit here and talk for a long time about the things I've learned, the good things and the bad things, of course. But I don't know, this whole thing has been such a huge adventure. I mean, I've been out touring and releasing albums before I joined Sabaton, but this is on a completely new level. It's on a more professional level than I've ever experienced before. I mean, when I started to play, and where it was like, shit, we're this close of getting a support act tour. We can support a small band. That would be great on a couple of shows. And now we're doing headline shows all of a sudden. I mean, you were talking about Sabaton opening for Accept, and my first European tour, we were having Accept as a support act. I mean, when I was 14, I heard Sabaton Hammerfall for the first time, and I mean, I wanted to play guitar like the guys in Hammerfall. I even got this Oscar Droniak Jackson guitar because he had one. And now they're opening for us. It's strange, but in a good way, of course.
Yeah. I'm happy you guys are doing well. I hope you do even better. The Great War, pick it up. Great album. Probably one of your best albums, I would say. The History Channel, the Sabaton History Channel, go check it out. You get to know the details of every song and the lyrics behind the song. I'm proud of you guys. Thank you very much for being doing this interview.
Thank you so much.